I know, it's been over a month since the movie released, but I had a bunch of shit to do around that time. First of all, the day this movie released, me and my film school went on a residential trip to the NFTS. Not NFTs, NFTS, National Film and Television School. It was a pretty cool trip, I'll say. It's actually where Wallace and Gromit was made, which was surprising to find out. This residential was 2 weeks, so I had to wait 2 weeks to watch the fucking film. Yeah, there were no cinemas in Beaconsfield. Oh, but don't they have cinemas nearby since it's an area with one of the most well-known film schools in the UK, right? Right, that's what you'd think. But no, there were no cinemas in walking distance. What the hell? After that, I had a bunch of uni work to catch up on, which took me a whole month to fully complete. From essays to short films to PLEs, it was frantic, but now it's over. So let's finally review this fucking film. It's not gonna take long anyway. I've always considered myself more of a Sonic fan than a Mario fan. Hell, the first video I made on this channel was about Sonic, though it's privated now since I don't think it was very good. I remember watching the first Sonic movie, curious to see how it would hold up after the rather interesting marketing it had. But I liked it. I thought for what it was, it did a decent job. Then Sonic 2 came out and I was blown away. I loved this film. At the time, it was just what we needed, I think. Mind you, at this point in time, Frontiers wasn't out yet. So this was like one of the only things besides the comics that acknowledged the lore of the series, even adding its own spin on it, which I really appreciated. The cinema experience is something I hold dear. It's one of the reasons why I waited for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish to reach UK cinemas. The other being, of course, that you should never pirate when you have a means to watch something legally. No siree. And my cinema experience with Sonic 2 was...
It was a black
Oh
site,
my
sir.
god, oh my god, oh my god.
Shut up! Let's go!
After that, I was wondering how the Mario movie would compare. And just as a side note, if you actually expected people to not compare the two films, respectfully, you're an idiot. One of, if not the main reason Sonic exists was to compete with Mario, and that's exactly what happened. Why would you not expect there to be some sort of friendly competition between the movies? Anyway, whatever, would the film be at least good? Illumination didn't exactly have the best track record with films. Minions and Despicable Me 3 didn't exactly win singing praise. If anything, it all made me curious to see what they do with such a big IP. And to make a long story short, I think the Mario movie is pretty good. That does seem to be the consensus, along with another critique that I'll get into. As a film, I think it works. I think the story does its job, the characters are likable, and it certainly has the charm of a movie that had Mario fans in its crew, which I appreciate, because damn, is this movie not afraid at all to embrace Mario's video game nature. The film doesn't go out of its way to explain the elements that we know from Mario, like floating platforms and blocks. They trust the viewer to know what these things are, and also know that with animation, people are willing to suspend their disbelief by miles. I don't really know what to say about this film that hasn't already been said. The animation is marvelous, let's start there. The animation in this film rivals Pixar, I'd say. Everything is colourful and bouncy and full of emotion, which I was expecting since a lot of film adaptations up the amount of emoting when adapting otherwise vanilla characters. Mario himself has a bit more personality than his game counterpart, in that the movie actually tries to add relatable aspects to his character. He wants to prove to his family that he can do greater, and a lot of us can relate to that. I definitely can. Luigi, I didn't expect anything too drastic. He's arguably the one with the most personality in the games, and it translates mostly pretty well to the film, though it does, unfortunately, leave him with a little less screen time than I was hoping for. Hopefully in the sequel, and believe me, there will be a sequel, he gets more time to shine. Toad, oh man, poor Toad. Bro thinks he's part of the team. Other than guiding Mario to the princess near the beginning, he has no significance to the plot. Like, none. He's only there to cheer Mario on. Hopefully in the second film he actually has something to do, along with Luigi. Bowser, unsurprisingly, is the highlight. He's the best character in the film, I'm not joking. Sometimes it's nice to just have a character be evil for the sake of being evil with no super sad backstory or anything. His whole thing is that he just wants to marry Peach. And I mean, can you blame him? It's Peach. Actually, I'm more of a Rosalina person, but my point still stands. Bowser did nothing wrong for my guy. When they announced the cast, Jack Black was the only one that I had no doubts about. The Kung Fu Panda trilogy is my favorite animated trilogy of all time. Well, for now anyway. That trilogy, and of course his other roles, I showed that he had range, so I wasn't really worried about him. Overall, I think the characters are done enough justice. It's certainly the most entertaining we've seen them from a purely characterization perspective, not counting the RPGs. The story is pretty simple, but you shouldn't really go into a Mario movie expecting the Shawshank Redemption. The simplicity works, and honestly I don't think the sequel will be any deeper than this, nor does it have to be. I'd welcome it as long as it fits in Mario's tone and the aesthetics. That's all I can really say about this film. It's a neat little package that delivers on what it promised to do. It's just Mario, but in film. Can't really argue with that. I will say my biggest gripe with this film is the pacing. This movie goes by way too fast, and I appreciate that they tried putting as much references and callbacks as possible into the film, but sometimes I can't help but feel like it's to its detriment. I think if they wrote the beginning part with Brooklyn a bit tighter to where it didn't take up as much time as it does, would have given characters like Toad and Luigi more time to shine. And there's a part near the Rainbow Road segment that feels like it came out of nowhere and was too short at the same time. I do think the script could have been given another draft in regards to how it uses its time. It may be at the bottom of the list, but by no means does that mean it's a bad film. It's great, but compared to the other two, I don't think it really beats them. But I mean, other than that, there's not really anything else to say except, next review is Across the Spider-Verse, which I'm really looking forward to. It's gonna be peak fiction. And don't worry, it won't take over a month like this one. Safe.